Oh my god. It's me, Lightly Toasty. Sorry to bother you, but I've taken up a part-time job as a mad scientist and also a professional Ken Carson critic. Although nowadays, honestly, I think those are kind of one and the same. But over the past 3 days, I've been trying to come up with a formula that'll sell complete mediocrity to everybody without fail. And I think this time, I finally got it. If my calculations are correct, all you have to do is just shop at Hot Topic and then say you're cool, and then people will believe you. I'm literally a genius. Before you ask, Toasty, why are you reviewing some Ken Carson album? Don't you have literally anything better to review? And first of all, the only things that dropped this week are Ken Carson, Madonna, and Peppa Pig. And I was this close to doing Peppa Pig first, okay? I was this close. But secondly, there is a good amount to talk about with this album, as it did kind of impress me. Now, spoiler alert, but I'm not the biggest Ken Carson fan. And for the longest time, I was really not a fan of the entire rage genre, which is this subgenre of rap that kind of just takes the beat, puts it through an entire blender, dunks it under a pit of boiling water, and then also after that deep fries it in oil. Little did I know my mind would be changed by a certain album by a kid named Slayer. This album is so good, and if you haven't listened to it and you're still not a fan of rage, and I know it's a really hard genre to get into because of how abrasive it sounds and how just like in your face it is, but if you really want a good starting point, I absolutely cannot recommend any more Blood Lux by Slayer. What separates this album from every other Rage album is just focus. He actually knows what to talk about, he actually knows how to rap, how to actually change flows, how to actually sound cool on the mic without literally just having to spell out for you why he's cool. The topical focus for every other Rage album, and spoiler alert, this album as well, is I take so many drugs, I'm gonna be dead by next week. I'm the coolest. And look, if that's all the depth that you want in your writing and your lyrics, then go ahead. By all means, if that's what you enjoy, you can enjoy it. I'm just saying, when I'm up to track 40 and it's the exact same thing again, it kind of gets a little tough to get through. So when I saw that this album, Experiment by Ken Carson, by the way, was going to be 22 songs, let's just say I didn't get through it all in one sitting. For the first listen, I always try to get through the album all the way through, no skipping the first time, just to give the album the fair shot that it deserves. But with this thing, not to say that it wasn't entertaining at certain points, but it was a slog. And before we even get to this album, I want to quickly talk about More Chaos, which was his last album, a sequel to A Great Chaos, which was a pretty solid album. But More Chaos was not that. Dear God, anything but that. More Chaos was another 22-track long marathon of literally nothing. It was just more boring noise. And that's like my main problem. I can excuse the terrible rapping. Like, I know he's not going to change that. He's not just going to become Picasso tomorrow.
Picasso is an artist, not a writer. Are you genuinely dumb?
But like when nothing else about it, like, okay, the rapping is bad, but at least the beats are good. In this case, the beats ain't even good. It was just nothing. There's maybe like a couple salvageable catchy beats, but for the most part, it's just noise. And I was fully prepared for Experiment to be the exact same thing. And was it? Kinda. Whereas something like More Chaos I probably would have rated like a 2 at highest, this one's much higher for me. Mostly because while he does say, yeah, he's gonna be experimental on this album, which, no. The actual beats that he gets, a lot of, like, I'd say a good half of them are actually really solid, and there's stuff that I actually want to go back to. The problem swiftly arrives when Filthy ain't on the production anymore, and all you have is some distorted dark trap beat, and the only thing you have to rely on to make that song salvageable, and this is for half the songs, mind you, the only thing that could save the song from that point on is the performance by Ken Carson. And Ken Carson is the last thing you are on this album for. One of my favorite songs off this album is definitely Gynecologist, mostly for the Filthy production, as I said, but that first entire, like, I guess chorus from Ken Carson is so asinine that it's mind-numbingly dumb. He does have a pretty hilarious line where he says, "She said she want that Van Cleef. told her, jump off the cliff. I ain't paying for that. Also, to show you more of the level of thought that actually went into this writing, a lot of the songs will literally just start with him just saying the song title. For example, the song Out of My Body literally just starts with, I'm out of my body. I'm out of my body. The song Amanda Bynes starts with, she thinks she all that, Amanda Bynes. The intro to this album, Where Do I Start, literally just starts off saying, where do I start? The song Truth literally has the chorus start off the song, and the chorus is just saying, just tell me the truth, 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 And he does the exact same thing as that song, except now the song is called So Many Bags, so now he just repeats so many bags for the chorus. My favorite one of these by far has to be the song Flamethrower, where he just starts off the song, I'm a flamethrower. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? But when it comes to the features on this project, I'd say they pretty much did their thing. None of them are necessarily the most memorable or like, oh, I gotta go back to that one. Except for maybe one that we'll talk about later. But for the most part, they did their thing. They all showed out for this one. I don't think a single one of them were just like, they didn't ruin any song. So they felt like they had a spot on this album for sure. But for a lot of them, it's like, are you really going back to a song like Drug Kit for the Young Thug verse? But there is one guy that is probably the most talked about thing about this album, and that's going to be Playboi Carti. And he has two features on this album. One of them at the beginning, one of them at the end. The first feature is just him doing the Future deep voice. That's just, there's literally nothing to talk about with the song. It's just another Playboi Carti and Ken Carson song. It's not special. But when we get all the way to the outro with We Did It, we actually get a pretty good performance from both artists. This is literally the first time for the entire album where I'd say the Ken Carson performance doesn't want to make me shove pencils in my ears. It's actually like, it's okay. It's not good, but in comparison to the rest of the every single other song here, it's pretty good. But we all know what everyone's here for. It's more deep voice Carti, which I will definitely admit I was a bit disappointed by, because I was really hoping for, the more, not necessarily the Elmo Carti, but just the normal light voice that we're kind of used to. I feel like it fits better with the tracks that he was on, but it still works here. But apparently Kendrick wasn't lying when he said that dude's his evil twin, because we're just back to dissing Drake. He spends literally half of his verse just dissing a Canadian, and on the 250th birthday of America? Damn right. And while the wordplay ain't the craziest, it was catchy and serviceable for the most part. If I'm going back to this album at all, this is definitely one of the songs I'm revisiting first. And I did say earlier that this album would rank much higher for me than his previous album. But still, the score is not going to be that much higher. It's compared to like a 2, it's high, but it's not going to be that much. And that's mostly because when I'm thinking about this album in the grand scheme of things, it's definitely not a good album experience. When the beats are unique, interesting, and have any sense of direction at all, then it's a pretty good album. But whenever you don't have that, and whenever he didn't have enough money to get another Filthy beat, it just all goes downhill, because that's really the only saving grace for this entire album. If you cut out all of the boring, mind-numbing solo Ken Carson songs that had just the most basic trap production with nothing unique to say, this would actually be a pretty solid album. In fact, I'd probably say it's around like a 7 to an 8. But at that point, it would only be about like 7 songs, and that's not how you do the streaming game these days. So that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, this is just a bloated, kind of boring mid-project that, when it comes to the rage scene, is honestly one of the better albums that I've heard. But when it comes to, music at large, this is like, ain't much. I will probably wake up tomorrow and completely forget about this album's entire existence. And I'm okay with that. I will say I'm probably keeping songs like Wrist, Ghost, EDM, Gynecologist is another one, We Did It, like Knocking's really good. Like, there's a lot of songs I'll probably go back to, but I am never revisiting this album in full. Therefore, this album, in my humble opinion, is a 5.5 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know all of your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, rants, or raves in the comment section below. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see any more. Let me know which other albums you think might be better or worse than this one. Tell me how much I'm wrong. And I'll see you in the next one.
Peace.